The gentle rustle of fabric filled the air, a symphony of silk and lace as Lisa sorted through her closet. Her fingers danced across hangers laden with an array of colorful garments, each a memory, a mood, a statement. She paused, a knowing smile playing on her lips, as she caught Tony's reflection in the mirror. His eyes, usually fixed on the pixelated worlds of his phone or the flickering images of the television, were captivated by the shimmering sequins of her favorite sapphire party dress. It was a dress that held stories, whispered promises of moonlit dances and shared laughter. "See something you like?" Lisa teased, her voice a melodic hum, turning to face her partner of 3 years. The question, light as a feather, held a deeper current of observation, a thread she had been noticing for some time now. Tony startled, his cheeks flushing a deep crimson that spread from his collar to the tips of his ears. I was just thinking about what you might wear to dinner tonight," he stammered, quickly averting his gaze to a less incriminating pile of folded sweaters. The excuse was flimsy, even to his own ears, and he knew Lisa, with her keen perception, had seen right through it. Lisa's smile widened, a mischievous glint in her eyes. She had indeed noticed Tony's growing fascination with her wardrobe over the past few months. At first, she dismissed it as simple appreciation, a boyfriend admiring his girlfriend's style. But lately, the subtle shifts had become more pronounced. She'd caught him lingering a bit too long near the dress section when they went shopping, his fingers brushing almost imperceptibly against silky fabrics when he thought she wasn't looking. There was a quiet curiosity in his glances, a yearning that went beyond mere aesthetics. "You know," Lisa said, her tone light and playful, stepping closer and lowering her voice conspiratorially, "we could always have a little dress-up night of our own. Just the two of us." The suggestion hung in the air, a delicate invitation to an unspoken adventure. Tony's eyes widened, a complex mixture of fear and excitement flashing across his face, like distant lightning illuminating a stormy horizon. "What do you mean?" he asked, his voice barely a whisper, as if speaking too loudly might shatter the fragile moment. Lisa crossed the room, the soft carpet muffling her steps, and sat beside Tony on the edge of the bed. She took his hand, her touch gentle yet firm, her thumb tracing soothing circles on his palm. The rhythmic motion was meant to calm, to reassure, to build a bridge of trust between them. "I mean, if you're curious about how it feels to wear something like this," she gestured vaguely towards her open closet, encompassing the entire realm of her femininity, "we could explore that together. No judgment. Just fun." Her gaze was unwavering, filled with an acceptance that sought to banish any hint of shame or apprehension. Tony swallowed hard, his Adam's apple bobbing nervously as he processed her words. The idea, both exhilarating and terrifying, swirled in his mind. "I don't know, Lisa, that's not really. I mean, guys don't." His voice trailed off, caught in the quagmire of societal expectations and ingrained beliefs. The unspoken rules of masculinity, so deeply ingrained, felt like an invisible barrier. "Hey," Lisa said softly, cupping his face with her free hand, her touch warm against his skin. Her eyes, pools of understanding, met his. "There's no rule book here, Tony. It's just us. If you're not comfortable, we don't have to." She gave him an easy out, a graceful escape route. "But if you're even a little bit curious, I'm here for you." The unspoken promise in her words was a lifeline, a beacon of unconditional love. Tony was quiet for a long moment, his eyes searching Lisa's face for any sign of mockery, any flicker of disgust, anything that would confirm his deepest fears. Finding only love and acceptance, a boundless ocean of understanding, he took a deep, shaky breath. A decision, long brewing beneath the surface of his consciousness, finally surfaced. "Okay," he whispered, the word barely audible, a fragile commitment to an unknown path. "Let's try it." Lisa beamed, a radiant smile that lit up her entire face, planting a quick, celebratory kiss on his cheek before bouncing up with renewed energy to rummage through her closet. Her earlier mission of finding an outfit for dinner was utterly forgotten. I think I have just the thing, she exclaimed, her voice bubbling with excitement, pulling out a flowing emerald green dress. Its fabric shimmered under the bedroom light, promising elegance and grace. This should fit you. She held it up against his frame, assessing the approximate size, and it'll look amazing with your eyes. The emerald of the dress, she instinctively knew, would perfectly complement the deep hazel of his eyes, bringing out the flecks of green within them. Tony stood awkwardly in the middle of the room, feeling like a misplaced piece of furniture, unsure of what to do with his hands. They felt cumbersome, alien, as Lisa, with the practiced ease of someone dressing a mannequin, helped him out of his t-shirt and jeans. Each garment shed felt like a layer of his familiar world peeling away, leaving him exposed and vulnerable. The air suddenly seemed cooler against his bare skin. The cool, smooth silk of the emerald dress sent an unexpected shiver down his spine as it slipped over his head. It was a sensation entirely new, unlike the rough cotton of his usual clothes or the utilitarian denim he wore day in and day out. The fabric settled against his skin like a gentle caress, light and airy, an almost ethereal embrace. He felt the soft swish of the skirt around his legs, an entirely unfamiliar motion that made him acutely aware of his body in a way he hadn't experienced before. "How does it feel?" Lisa asked, stepping back to admire the effect, her eyes sparkling with anticipation. She circled him slowly, a proud artist observing her creation, a supportive partner witnessing a transformative moment. Tony closed his eyes, drawing a deep breath and focusing on the sensation of the fabric against his body, trying to articulate the complex tapestry of feelings. It was unlike anything he'd ever experienced, light, airy, almost as if he were floating, detached from the usual weight and confines of his male attire. There was a surprising freedom in it, a liberation he hadn't anticipated. "It's nice," he admitted, a small, genuine smile tugging at the corners of his mouth. The word felt inadequate, but it was the best he could manage to describe the burgeoning sense of wonder. "Wait until you try these." Lisa grinned, her voice laced with playful triumph, holding up a pair of black stilettos. They were delicate, impossibly high, with slender heels that seemed to defy gravity. They looked less like shoes and more like instruments of elegant torture. Tony's eyes widened in genuine alarm. "Oh, I don't know about that," he began, a wave of apprehension washing over him. The dress was one thing, a hidden exploration within the privacy of their apartment. But these felt like a commitment, a public declaration even if no one else was present. The thought of balancing on such precarious structures was daunting, almost comical. "Trust me," Lisa winked, her confidence infectious. "You haven't lived until you've strutted in heels." Her tone suggested a secret initiation, a rite of passage he was about to experience. With Lisa's help, a steadying hand on his shoulder and guiding his feet, Tony slipped into the shoes. The narrow confines of the stilettos felt alien and constricting after the comfortable expanse of his sneakers. He gripped Lisa's arms tightly, his knuckles white, as he wobbled unsteadily, feeling like a newborn giraffe attempting its first steps. His center of gravity had shifted dramatically, and the floor seemed miles away. "How do you walk in these things?" he gasped, his voice strained, taking a tentative, almost imperceptible step forward. Each movement was an act of conscious effort, a battle against an imminent fall. Lisa laughed, a bright, joyous sound that filled the room, her eyes twinkling with mischief. "Practice, darling. Lots and lots of practice." She continued to hold him, guiding him, patiently allowing him to find his footing, literally and figuratively. As the evening wore on, Tony's initial discomfort melted away, replaced by a growing sense of curiosity and, to his surprise, delight. He found himself twirling in front of the full-length mirror, marveling at how the emerald dress swished around his legs, an elegant, fluid motion that mirrored his newfound sense of grace. The fabric flowed and swayed, responding to his movements in a way his jeans never could. Lisa, an encouraging mentor, taught him how to walk in heels. Their laughter echoed through the apartment as he tottered and stumbled, a clumsy dance of discovery, before finally, miraculously, finding a semblance of balance. Each successful step was a small victory, a triumph over his own inhibition. "You're a natural," Lisa praised, her voice brimming with genuine admiration, watching Tony strut across the living room with growing confidence. His movements were still a little stiff, a little exaggerated, but the self-consciousness was fading, replaced by a burgeoning pride. Tony grinned, a warmth blooming in his chest that had nothing to do with embarrassment and everything to do with a sense of rightness, a feeling he'd never experienced before. It was a peculiar joy, a silent resonance within his soul. "This is fun," he admitted, surprised by how much he truly meant it. The words, simple as they were a profound revelation. As the night drew to a close, the magical spell of transformation began to wear thin, and Tony found himself surprisingly reluctant to change back into his regular clothes. The thought of shedding the silk and the heels, of returning to his male attire, felt like leaving a vibrant dream to wake in a duller reality. Catching his wistful expression in the mirror, Lisa wrapped her arms around him from behind, her embrace a comforting cocoon. "You know," she murmured, resting her chin on his shoulder, her voice soft and tender, "we could do this again sometime if you want." The offer was open, without pressure, a gentle continuation of their shared adventure. Tony met her eyes in the reflection, a mixture of gratitude and uncertainty swirling in their depths. "You wouldn't mind?" he asked, the question laced with a lingering doubt. Lisa shook her head, tightening her embrace, her message clear and unequivocal. "I want you to be happy, Tony. Whatever that looks like." Her words were a testament to her unconditional love, a promise to support him no matter where this journey led. In the weeks that followed, their dress-up nights became more frequent, evolving from a tentative experiment into a cherished ritual. Tony's initial hesitation, a fragile shell of societal expectation, gave way to a burgeoning enthusiasm. He eagerly anticipated these evenings, eagerly trying on different outfits from Lisa's expansive wardrobe, each new garment a fresh exploration. He began experimenting with makeup, a subtle blush here, a tentative swipe of eyeliner there, fascinated by the transformative power of cosmetics. Lisa was always there, a patient guide and enthusiastic cheerleader, offering encouragement and advice, never pushing but always supporting, her love a constant, unwavering beacon. As Tony grew more comfortable exploring his feminine side within the sanctuary of their apartment, subtle yet profound changes began to manifest in his everyday life. These shifts were not dramatic overnight transformations, but rather gradual, almost imperceptible evolutions that, when viewed in retrospect, marked a significant departure from his former self. He started growing out his hair, a conscious decision that felt both rebellious and deeply personal. The shaggy waves that now framed his face were a testament to this inner shift, a visual representation of his expanding identity. He experimented with different styles, sometimes letting it fall loosely, other times attempting a more structured look, delighting in the versatility. His wardrobe, once a predictable collection of jeans, t-shirts, and casual shirts, gradually shifted. It began incorporating more androgynous pieces, soft fabrics, flowing silhouettes, and colors he would have previously dismissed as feminine. These items blurred the lines between masculine and feminine, allowing him to express a more nuanced sense of self, even in public. He found himself gravitating towards softer textures, elegant cuts, and a wider spectrum of colors, enjoying the newfound freedom in sartorial expression. One evening, as they cuddled on the couch, the soft glow of the television illuminating their faces as they watched a movie, Tony turned to Lisa with a serious expression, the flickering images on the screen forgotten. There was a weight to his gaze, a quiet intensity that Lisa immediately recognized as a prelude to something significant. "Lisa," he said softly, his voice barely above a whisper, the words carefully chosen. I think I might be transgender." The confession hung in the air, fragile and profound, a moment of profound vulnerability. Lisa paused the movie, the sudden silence amplifying the importance of his declaration. She gave Tony her full, undivided attention, her eyes kind and unwavering. "Okay," she said gently, her voice calm and reassuring, creating a safe space for him to continue. "Do you want to talk about it?" Tony nodded, tears welling up in his eyes, blurring the edges of the room. The dam had broken and a flood of emotions, long held in check, began to flow. "I've been doing a lot of research," he explained, his voice thick with emotion, "and everything just makes sense now. The way I've always felt, different, uncomfortable in my own skin." He gestured vaguely at himself, at the body that had always felt like a costume he was forced to wear. "But when I'm dressed up, when I'm embracing my feminine side, I feel whole. Like I'm finally myself." The realization, though terrifying, was also liberating, a puzzle piece finally clicking into place. Lisa pulled Tony into a tight hug, her arms a comforting embrace, stroking his hair as he cried softly against her shoulder. She let him weep, understanding that these were tears of both sadness and profound relief. "I'm so proud of you," she whispered, her voice husky with emotion. "Thank you for trusting me with this." Her words were a balm, an affirmation of his courage. As Tony's tears subsided, he pulled back, wiping his eyes with the back of his hand, a residual tremor in his movements. "What does this mean for us?" he asked, his voice trembling, the question laden with fear and uncertainty. The ground beneath their relationship had shifted, and he was unsure if it could bear the new weight. Lisa cupped his face in her hands, her gaze steady and full of unwavering love. "It means we're on a new adventure together," she said, her voice firm, resolute. "I fell in love with you, Tony, not your gender. If this is who you truly are, then I'm here for you every step of the way." Her declaration was a vow, a promise of steadfast companionship through the uncharted territory ahead. It was a moment of profound commitment, solidifying their bond in the face of an uncertain future. With Lisa's unwavering support, Tony began the arduous yet exhilarating process of transitioning. It was a journey into the unknown, a path he had only dreamed of in the quietest corners of his mind, now illuminated by Lisa's unwavering presence. They researched together, poring over articles, forums, and personal stories, a shared quest for knowledge and understanding. Their joint effort led them to a supportive therapist and a compassionate doctor, professionals who would guide them through the intricate medical and emotional landscape of gender transition. Tony started hormone therapy, a monumental step that marked the physical commencement of his transformation. He watched with a mixture of excitement and trepidation as his body slowly began to change, the subtle shifts a constant reminder of the profound journey he had embarked upon. Each new development, however small, was a testament to his burgeoning self. Choosing a new name was a deeply personal and significant process, an act of self-creation that felt as weighty as any other decision. After much consideration, reflection, and countless whispered options exchanged between them, Tony settled on Rosalie. "Rose for short," she explained to Lisa, her voice imbued with a newfound lightness. "It feels right, like it's been waiting for me all along." The name resonated with a deep, intrinsic sense of belonging, a perfect fit for the person she was becoming. As Rosalie's transition progressed, their relationship deepened in ways neither had anticipated. The openness and vulnerability required to navigate this new territory brought them closer than ever before, strengthening the already profound bond between them. They were a team, facing challenges and celebrating triumphs, their love evolving and expanding to encompass Rosalie's authentic self. There were challenges, of course, as there always are on paths of significant change. Some friends, uncomfortable with the transformation, drifted away, their discomfort creating an insurmountable distance. Rosalie's parents struggled to understand, their initial reactions a complex mixture of confusion, concern, and a palpable sense of loss for the son they thought they knew. These moments were painful, but they were met with Rosalie's quiet resolve and Lisa's steadfast comfort. But there were surprises too, moments of unexpected grace and acceptance. Colleagues who rallied around Rosalie, offering heartfelt support and genuine acceptance, creating a safe and inclusive environment at work. Lisa's family, a pillar of unconditional love, welcomed Rosalie with open arms, insisting that love was love, no matter the form it took. Their acceptance was a balm to Rosalie's soul, a powerful affirmation that transcended traditional expectations. Through it all, Lisa remained Rosalie's rock, her anchor in the sometimes turbulent seas of transition. She held Rosalie's hand through nerve-wracking doctor's appointments, dried her tears on difficult days when dysphoria or social pressures felt overwhelming, and celebrated every milestone, no matter how small. Each new step, each moment of courage, was acknowledged and cherished. When Rosalie finally felt ready to present as female full-time, a significant and empowering moment, Lisa, ever the planner of celebrations, threw a small, intimate party. She invited their closest friends, a carefully curated circle of trusted confidants, to welcome Rosalie to the world, not as Tony, but as her true self. It was an unofficial christening, a joyous public declaration of Rosalie's authentic identity. As Rosalie stood in front of the mirror that evening, preparing for the party, dressed in a stunning red gown that hugged her curves in all the right places, she hardly recognized herself. Gone was the awkward, uncomfortable person she'd been for so long, the boy who felt trapped in his own skin. In her place stood a woman radiating confidence and joy, her eyes shining with a light she had never known before. The dress was not a costume, it was an extension of her spirit, a garment that truly belonged to her. Lisa appeared behind her, as if on cue, wrapping her arms around Rosalie's waist, her embrace warm and comforting. "You look beautiful," she murmured, her voice a soft caress, pressing a kiss to Rosalie's shoulder. Rosalie turned in Lisa's embrace, her eyes shining with unshed tears of gratitude and overwhelming emotion. "I couldn't have done this without you," she said, her voice thick with emotion, the words barely escaping her throat. "You've been my strength, my support, my everything." Her declaration was a heartfelt testament to Lisa's profound impact on her journey. Lisa smiled, reaching up to gently tuck a stray strand of Rosalie's hair behind her ear. "You've always been strong, Rose. I just helped you see it." Her words were a humble reflection of her unwavering belief in Rosalie. As they made their way to the living room, where their friends waited to celebrate, Rosalie paused, pulling Lisa close. "I love you," she whispered, pouring every ounce of gratitude, adoration, and newfound completeness into those 3 simple words. Lisa's smile widened, her eyes sparkling with joy, reflecting the depth of her own feelings. "I love you too," she replied, her voice soft but firm. "Always and forever, no matter what." Hand in hand, a testament to their unbreakable bond, they stepped into the room, ready to embrace the next chapter of their lives together. As their friends cheered and raised their glasses, a chorus of celebration, Rosalie felt a profound sense of peace wash over her. For the first time in her life, she was truly home, not just in Lisa's arms, but in her own skin, finally, completely, authentically herself. The party was a whirlwind of laughter, heartfelt tears, and profound conversations. Rosalie found herself enveloped by an outpouring of love and support from their friends, each person taking the time to express their admiration for her courage and to reaffirm their unwavering friendship. It was a symphony of acceptance, a chorus of voices celebrating her true self. Every hug, every kind word, every knowing glance was a stitch in the growing tapestry of her newfound identity, reinforcing the feeling of belonging. As the night wore on, the celebratory energy still buzzing, Rosalie excused herself to the balcony. She needed a moment of quiet, a space to process the myriad emotions swirling within her: joy, relief, a lingering sense of disbelief, and profound gratitude. She leaned against the cool railing, gazing out at the city lights twinkling in the distance, each one a tiny ember in the vast urban sprawl, mirroring the light that now burned brightly within her. Lisa joined her a few minutes later, her presence a comforting anchor. Wordlessly, she handed Rosalie a glass of champagne, the delicate fizz a gentle counterpoint to the quiet night. They stood in comfortable silence, sipping their drinks, sharing the cool night air and the unspoken understanding that flowed between them. The silence was not empty but full, brimming with shared history and a promising future. "Penny for your thoughts?" Lisa asked softly, breaking the comfortable quiet, bumping her shoulder playfully against Rosalie's. Rosalie smiled, turning to face her partner, her eyes reflecting the city lights. "I was just thinking about how much has changed in such a short time," she mused, her voice soft with wonder. "A year ago, I couldn't even admit to myself who I really was. And now," she gestured to herself, then back towards the lively party inside. "It's almost surreal." The transformation felt like a dream she was finally living. Lisa nodded, understanding in her eyes, a knowing smile playing on her lips. "It's been quite a journey," she agreed. "But you know what hasn't changed?" At Rosalie's questioning look, a slight tilt of her head, Lisa continued, her voice imbued with deep affection. "How much I love you. If anything, seeing you become your true self has only made me fall more in love." Her words were a tender affirmation, a reaffirmation of her unwavering devotion. Rosalie felt her heart swell with an overwhelming rush of emotion. She set her glass down on the small table nearby, the clink of glass against wood a quiet punctuation mark, and pulled Lisa into a tight embrace. "I don't know what I did to deserve you," she murmured into Lisa's hair, her voice thick with gratitude, tears threatening to spill once more. Lisa pulled back slightly, her eyes serious, holding Rosalie's gaze. "You were yourself, Rose. That's all you ever needed to be." Her simple truth was profound, a powerful message of unconditional acceptance. As they rejoined the party, Rosalie felt a renewed sense of purpose. She knew the road ahead wouldn't always be easy. Life, after all, was rarely a smooth journey. But with Lisa by her side, a steadfast companion, and the unwavering support of their cherished friends, she felt ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. Their love was a shield, their community a net. In the months that followed, Rosalie continued to blossom, shedding the last vestiges of Tony. She threw herself into her transition with renewed enthusiasm, embracing every aspect of her newfound femininity. Shopping trips with Lisa, once a source of discomfort and a quiet, yearning envy, became joyous adventures as they explored Rosalie's evolving style together. They spent hours sifting through racks of clothing, experimenting with different silhouettes, colors, and textures, each outfit a new facet of her identity. One sunny afternoon, as they strolled through the park hand in hand, the warmth of the sun on their faces and the gentle breeze rustling the leaves, Rosalie couldn't help but marvel at how natural it felt to simply exist as herself. She no longer felt the need to constantly monitor her mannerisms or the pitch of her voice, the unconscious self-censorship that had plagued her for so long. The freedom was exhilarating, a lightness in her step and a joy in her heart. "What's got you smiling like that?" Lisa asked, giving her hand a gentle squeeze, her own smile mirroring Rosalie's. Rosalie's grin widened, a radiant expression of contentment. "I was just thinking about how happy I am. How right everything feels." The profound simplicity of the statement held immense weight. Lisa's answering smile was radiant, a reflection of the happiness she felt for Rosalie. "I'm so glad, love. You deserve all the happiness in the world." Her words were a heartfelt blessing. As they continued their walk, Rosalie's thoughts drifted to the future. She and Lisa had discussed marriage before, in passing, but it had always felt like a distant possibility, a romantic notion for a far-off time. Now, with her transition well underway and their relationship stronger and deeper than ever, Rosalie found herself longing for that deeper commitment, that ultimate declaration of their love. The idea of spending forever with Lisa, as her true self, filled her with a profound sense of completeness. That evening, as they prepared dinner together in their cozy kitchen, the aroma of herbs and simmering sauces filling the air, Rosalie decided to broach the subject that had been occupying her thoughts. The clatter of pots and pans, the rhythmic chopping of vegetables, provided a comforting backdrop to the momentous conversation she was about to initiate. "Lisa," she began, her heart racing a little faster than usual, a nervous flutter in her chest. "I've been thinking." She paused, trying to find the right words to gather her courage. Lisa looked up from the vibrant vegetables she was expertly chopping, her expression curious, a slight tilt to her head. "About what, Rosie?" she asked, her voice gentle, sensing the underlying seriousness in Rosalie's tone. Rosalie took a deep breath, steeling herself. "About us. About our future." She set down the spoon she'd been using to stir the pasta sauce, the faint clink against the ceramic pot sounding loud in her ears, and turned to face Lisa fully, her gaze unwavering. "I love you more than I ever thought possible. You've been my rock, my cheerleader, my everything through this whole journey." Her voice trembled slightly with the weight of her emotions, but her resolve was firm. "And I want to spend the rest of my life showing you how much you mean to me." Lisa's eyes widened as understanding dawned, a soft gasp escaping her lips. She slowly set down her knife, the sharp blade resting against the cutting board, giving Rosalie her full, undivided attention. A mixture of surprise, joy, and anticipation bloomed on her face. Then, with a movement that felt both sudden and entirely natural, Rosalie dropped to one knee. The cool tile of the kitchen floor pressed against her skin, a grounding sensation. She reached into her pocket, her fingers fumbling slightly, and pulled out a small, velvet box. Its dark, rich color stood in stark contrast to the glittering promise it held within. Opening the box, revealing a sparkling ring that seemed to capture and reflect all the light in the kitchen, Rosalie met Lisa's stunned gaze. Her voice, though still tinged with emotion, was steady now resolute. "Lisa Thompson, will you marry me?" Tears sprang to Lisa's eyes, glistening in the soft kitchen light, as she nodded emphatically, unable to contain the overwhelming rush of emotion. "Yes," she breathed, the word a heartfelt whisper, a fervent promise. "1,000 times yes." Rosalie, her hands shaking slightly with elation, slipped the ring onto Lisa's finger. It fit perfectly, a symbol of their enduring love and the journey they had shared. She then stood, pulling her newly minted fiancé into a passionate kiss, a celebration of their shared future, their mouths curving into laughter even as tears streamed down their faces. As they broke apart, both laughing and crying simultaneously, a profound sense of completeness washed over Rosalie, a feeling she'd never experienced before. Her heart felt so full it might burst with happiness. "I love you so much," Lisa whispered, pressing her forehead against Rosalie's, her voice husky with emotion. "I love you too," Rosalie replied, her own heart overflowing. "Thank you for loving all of me, even when I couldn't love myself." It was a testament to Lisa's unwavering acceptance, her ability to see the true Rosalie long before Rosalie herself could. As they stood in their kitchen, dinner temporarily forgotten in the wake of their momentous engagement, Rosalie marveled at how far she'd come. From those first tentative steps in Lisa's heels, a moment of profound vulnerability and curiosity, to this moment of pure joy and unwavering acceptance. Every part of her journey, every struggle, every triumph, every shared secret, had led her here. She was Rosalie, proud, loved, and finally, truly, authentically herself. The kitchen, usually just a place for cooking, had become the stage for a new beginning, a sacred space where their future had just been sealed. The wedding planning began in earnest, a joyous whirlwind of decisions and delightful preparations. Both women threw themselves into the process with enthusiasm, their shared excitement palpable. They decided on a small, intimate ceremony, desiring a celebration that felt personal and deeply meaningful. A picturesque garden, blooming with vibrant flowers and dappled sunlight, was chosen as the perfect setting to be surrounded by their closest friends and family, those who had loved and supported them through every twist and turn. As the big day approached, Rosalie found herself grappling with a familiar mixture of excitement and nerves. She had come so far in her transition, achieving a profound sense of self-acceptance, but there were still lingering moments of insecurity, especially when contemplating being the center of attention on her wedding day. The thought of all eyes on her, scrutinizing her, brought a flicker of old anxieties to the surface. The night before the wedding, as they lay in bed, the quiet hum of the city outside their window, Lisa sensed Rosalie's unease. She was attuned to Rosalie's every shift in mood, every subtle flicker of emotion. "What's on your mind, love?" she asked softly, propping herself up on one elbow to look at her fiancé, her gaze tender and understanding. Rosalie sighed, turning to face Lisa, her brow furrowed slightly. "I'm just nervous, I guess. What if I don't look right in my dress? What if someone says something hurtful? What if—" Her voice trailed off, the unspoken fears hanging in the air. Lisa silenced her with a gentle, reassuring kiss, a tender gesture that spoke volumes. "You're going to look absolutely stunning," she said firmly, her voice filled with unwavering conviction. "And anyone who can't see how beautiful you are, inside and out, doesn't deserve to be there tomorrow. Tomorrow is about celebrating our love, Rose. Nothing else matters." Her words were a powerful antidote to Rosalie's anxieties, a shield against external judgment. Rosalie felt the stubborn knot of anxiety in her chest loosen, dissolving under the warmth of Lisa's words. She snuggled closer, breathing in the comforting scent of her soon-to-be wife, finding solace in Lisa's embrace. "What did I do to deserve you?" she murmured, the question a heartfelt expression of gratitude. Lisa chuckled softly, her arms tightening around Rosalie. "You're you, Rose. That's more than enough." Her simple statement was a profound affirmation of Rosalie's inherent worth and belovedness. The wedding day dawned bright and clear, as if nature itself was celebrating their union, painting the sky with hues of gentle promise. Rosalie stood in front of the full-length mirror in the bridal suite, a private sanctuary of anticipation, hardly recognizing the woman staring back at her. Her dress, a flowing white gown with delicate lace details, hugged her curves perfectly, an embodiment of grace and elegance. Her hair, styled in soft waves, framed her face beautifully, highlighting her radiant features. But it was the sheer, unadulterated joy radiating from her eyes that truly took her breath away, a reflection of the profound happiness within. A gentle knock at the door interrupted her reverie. "Come in," she called, her voice clear and steady, turning to see who it was. Her mother entered, stopping short as she caught sight of Rosalie. Tears welled up in her eyes, glistening unchecked, as she took in her daughter's breathtaking appearance. "Oh, Rosalie," she breathed, her voice thick with emotion, "you look absolutely beautiful." Rosalie felt her own eyes fill with tears, a poignant moment of reconciliation and acceptance. Her relationship with her parents had been strained since she came out, a difficult period of adjustment and learning. But they had been making earnest efforts to understand and accept her, their love slowly bridging the gap. Seeing the love and pride shining so brightly in her mother's eyes now meant more than she could ever express, a powerful validation of her journey. "Thanks, Mom," she managed, her voice thick with emotion, a fragile bridge connecting past hurt with present love. Her mother crossed the room, enveloping Rosalie in a tight hug, a comforting embrace that spoke volumes. "I'm so proud of you," she whispered, her voice husky, "and I'm so happy you found someone who loves you for exactly who you are." As they broke apart, both wiping away tears, Rosalie felt a profound sense of peace settle over her. Whatever challenges lay ahead, she knew she had the unwavering love and support of both her chosen family and her biological family. It was a complete and encompassing love. The ceremony itself was a blur of happy tears and heartfelt vows. As Rosalie and Lisa exchanged rings, their fingers intertwining, they promised to love and support each other through all of life's ups and downs, in sickness and in health, for richer or for poorer. Rosalie felt a sense of rightness that permeated every fiber of her being, a profound certainty that this was exactly where she was meant to be, who she was meant to be, standing beside the love of her life. At the reception, surrounded by the warmth and infectious love of their friends and family, Rosalie couldn't stop smiling. As she and Lisa swayed together during their first dance, the music a gentle melody of their journey, she leaned in close, whispering, "Thank you for loving me. All of me." Lisa pulled back slightly, her eyes shining with adoration, a reflection of her boundless love. "Loving you is the easiest thing I've ever done," she replied, her voice soft but clear. "And I plan to keep doing it for the rest of our lives." Their promise hung in the air, sweet and eternal. As the night wore on, filled with the joyous sounds of laughter, the rhythmic pulse of dancing, and heartfelt toasts that brought both tears and smiles, Rosalie found herself overwhelmed with gratitude. She thought back to that first night, stumbling around their apartment in Lisa's heels, a moment of vulnerability that had sparked an unforeseen journey. She never could have imagined where that tentative step would lead. Now, as Mrs. and Mrs. Thompson-Chin, they were embarking on a new, exciting chapter of their lives together, their names intertwined, their futures forever linked. Rosalie knew there would be challenges ahead. There always were in life, for every individual and every couple. But she also knew that with Lisa by her side, a steadfast companion and unwavering partner, there was nothing they couldn't face. Their combined strength was immeasurable, their love an unbreakable bond. As they bid farewell to their guests, a warm chorus of goodbyes and well wishes, and prepared to leave for their honeymoon, Rosalie took one last look around the venue. Her gaze swept over the faces of those who had supported her throughout her journey, friends who had stood by her through thick and thin, family members who had learned and grown alongside her, embracing her authentic self. And at the center of it all, captivating her gaze, was Lisa, her rock, her partner, her wife. In that moment, a profound sense of peace settled over Rosalie. She was exactly where she was meant to be, surrounded by love and acceptance, finally and truly herself. The journey had been long, at times arduous, but it had led her to this moment of pure, unadulterated happiness. As she and Lisa climbed into the car that would whisk them away to begin their new life together, Rosalie knew that whatever the future held, they would face it hand in hand. Stronger together than they ever could be apart, their love was a testament to courage, acceptance, and the beautiful, transformative power of self-discovery. The gentle purr of the car's engine filled the comfortable silence as they drove away from the reception venue, leaving the celebration behind, but carrying its warmth within them. Rosalie's hand instinctively found Lisa's, their fingers intertwining naturally, a gesture of effortless connection. She gazed out the window at the passing streetlights, each one a fleeting reminder of the journey that had brought them to this extraordinary moment. "What are you thinking about?" Lisa asked softly, giving Rosalie's hand a gentle squeeze, attuned to her thoughts. Rosalie turned to her wife, a soft smile playing on her lips. "I was just remembering that first night we played dress-up. How nervous I was, how unsure. I never could have imagined we'd end up here." The contrast between then and now was astounding, a testament to their growth. Lisa's eyes crinkled with affection, her smile warm. "I knew even then that there was something special about you, Rose. I'm just glad I got to be part of your journey." As they arrived at the elegant hotel where they'd be spending their wedding night before flying out for their honeymoon the next day, Rosalie felt a flutter of excitement in her stomach. This wasn't just a hotel room, it was the beginning of their new life together, and she couldn't wait to see what adventures lay ahead, what new chapters they would write. In their luxurious suite, as they helped each other out of their beautiful wedding attire, the soft fabrics falling away, Rosalie caught sight of their reflection in the full-length mirror. Two women, radiant with love and happiness, starting their life together. She felt a lump form in her throat as the magnitude of the day's events, the culmination of so much, washed over her. Lisa, ever attuned to Rosalie's emotions, wrapped her arms around her from behind. "Happy tears?" she asked, meeting Rosalie's eyes in the mirror, her voice gentle. Rosalie nodded, unable to speak for a moment, her vision blurred by a fresh wave of emotion. When she finally found her voice, it was thick with gratitude. I never thought I could be this happy, this comfortable in my own skin. And it's all because of you, Lisa. You saw me, the real me, even before I could see myself." Lisa turned Rosalie in her arms, cupping her face gently. "You did all the hard work, love. I just held the mirror." Her humility belied the profound impact she had. As they fell into bed, exhausted but undeniably elated, Rosalie felt a sense of complete composure she'd never experienced before. Here, in Lisa's arms, she was home, not just in the physical sense, but in the deepest, most authentic part of her soul. The next morning, as they prepared to leave for their honeymoon, Rosalie found herself filled with an excitement she hadn't felt in years. It wasn't just about the trip itself, though the prospect of 2 weeks in a tropical paradise was certainly appealing. It was about starting this new chapter of their lives together, about facing the world as Mrs. and Mrs. Thompsonchin, a united front, a beacon of their love. As they boarded the plane, hand in hand, Rosalie caught sight of their matching wedding bands, glinting in the sunlight that streamed through the cabin window. She smiled, squeezing Lisa's hand, a silent promise. "Ready for our next adventure?" she asked. Lisa's answering smile was radiant, her eyes sparkling with joy. "With you always."